Hi, I'm Margaret from Heidi and Lana. Today I'm going to show you how to do a cable cast on. So to begin a cable cast on, you're going to make a slip knot. And you're just going to want to leave about a 5 or 6 inch tail. You don't need a real long tail for this cast on. I'm just going to wrap the yarn around 2 fingers, crossing it there, and then just reach through and pull the tail that's attached to the ball of yarn through. I'll show you that one more time. So leave a 5 or 6 inch tail, wrap it around 2 fingers, and pull the tail that's attached to the ball through. Then you're going to put that on your left hand needle. Tighten it up. Then this first part is like the knitted cast on. You're going to go into that slip knot that you just made, and you're going to knit. Instead of pulling the old stitch off, you're going to take the left tip and come over here to the right needle and pick up this stitch from the bottom and put it back on the left needle. Now here's where it's different from the knitted cast on. Now you're going to go in between those 2 stitches, front to back. You'll see I have a stitch on either side of the right needle, on the front and the back, and you're going to knit. And then you're going to pull it over here to the side and take your left tip and pick it up from the bottom again. I don't tighten it up too much at this point, because otherwise if you tighten it up too much, it makes it really hard to get your right tip back in between the next 2 stitches. So then here, before you start to wrap, just give it a nice little tug to get your tension nice. And then pull that through, come over here and pick it up from the bottom. Tighten it up, wrap, pull it through, and pick it up from the bottom. Go in between the next 2. So each time I'm just going over to the last 2 stitches on the needle. Wrap, pull it through, and pick it up from the bottom. Let's do one more. So go in between, wrap, pull it through, and then pick it up from the bottom. I'll show you what this cable cast on looks like on a knitted sample here. It makes a really nice edge. You can see it here on this piece that I've knit. Another time that you can use a cable cast on, not only just for your initial cast on, but sometimes in a pattern, it will call for you to cast on stitches on one side of your work or the other. So I'll show you how you can use the cable cast on to do that. I like to use a stitch marker to put a stitch marker on at this point, because sometimes you lose count if you're casting on, especially like a large number. It's real easy to lose track of how many you've cast on. So if you just put a stitch marker before you start, then you'll know anything after the stitch marker are the new stitches that you've cast on. And then when you work back to the marker, you can just remove it at that point. So you're going to skip the slip knot part, and we're just going to start off by going right in between the last 2 stitches on the needle and knitting. Pull that piece through and then pick it up from the bottom. So you can see that's my first stitch that I've cast on, the one after the marker. Go in between the stitches, knit, and pick it up from the bottom. In between the 2 stitches, pull it through and pick it up from the bottom. And just make sure that you snug it up before you wrap. Pull it tight, wrap, pick it up from the bottom. So that's how you do the cable cast on. Thanks so much for watching. You can find me on Ravelry, Instagram, and Facebook, all under Heidi and Lana. Happy knitting!